Hello and welcome back to another video in the Moodle Course Development Series. I'm Joe Deegan, and in this video you'll learn how to create quizzes in Moodle so that you can assess your students' performance. In the last section, you learned how to add static course materials to your site. Now it's time to make things a little more interactive with quizzes. So let's start by taking a quick look at an example of a Moodle quiz. As you can see with a Moodle quiz, you can ask several different types of questions and use all kinds of media along with your questions. And the best thing in many teachers' opinion is that it can also do all the grading for you. So quizzes are easy to add to any course site using the Add an Activity or Resource option. So as usual, we need to turn editing on first, and then I'll click Add an Activity or Resource here to add it to my second section. So I'll click that. And then I'm looking for Quiz in the Activities menu, which you'll see right here. And then I'll click Add. And then after clicking Add, you'll be brought to this screen where you can enter a name and introduction for the quiz. So I'll go ahead and enter that info now. Okay, and after adding the name and introduction, we can scroll down to the Timing section. And this is where we have the options to configure when the quiz will be available for students. For example, if you don't want your students to be able to access the quiz until another day, you can set that date in the Open the Quiz section, and then set a date and time for it to not be available to students using the Close the Quiz option. Another useful option here is the Time Limit option, which allows you to set a countdown timer for the quiz. The next configuration settings we have available are the grade settings, which allow you to categorize the grades, set an attempt limit, and also determine the grading method. And then if we scroll down, the next settings we have is the layout section. And the first setting in the layout section is question order, which allows you to shuffle the questions randomly, or you can keep them in the same order that you set them up to be in. You also have the option to spread your questions out across several pages. So let's go ahead and move down to the review options section and talk about some more options you have for feedback. The review options section allows you to determine what students will see when they're reviewing the quiz. For example, if we leave all of the checkmarked options as is, then students will be shown the correct answers, feedback, and also points scored immediately after they complete the quiz. Later on, maybe after everyone has completed the quiz, or after the quiz is closed, if you want to adjust any of these options, you'll just need to uncheck anything that you don't want the students to see. Then if we scroll down to the display section, this also allows you to determine how various aspects of the quiz looks to students. And then I'll scroll down to the next section of settings, which allow you to restrict access to the quiz based on certain conditions. And our next set of options down here are for the overall feedback on the quiz. And something great about these options is it allows you to give different feedback based on whatever your student scored. For example, if you want to give students who score 80% or less a different message, then you can type 80% into the grade boundary field and then type your feedback here. Okay, let's go ahead and scroll down to the end of our long list of quiz settings. And now that we have all of our settings configured, we'll click the Save and Display button so we can create our quiz questions next. After clicking Save and Display, we're brought to this page, which is actually the quiz, but at this point we don't have any questions created yet, so we'll need to start by clicking Edit Quiz so we can start creating questions. So I'll go ahead and click the Edit Quiz button now. From here you can get started creating the quiz questions by clicking the Add a Question button or the Add a Random Question button. And you'll only use the Add a Random Question button if you have categories of questions or question banks created in your Moodle site. For this example, we'll just click the Add a Question button and start creating our questions from scratch. After clicking the Add a Question button, you have several different question types to choose from. But let's start off with multiple choice, since that's one of our more popular options in Moodle. So I'll click multiple choice, and then I'll click the Next button. Okay, and then after clicking Next, I'm brought to this screen, where I have all of my options for creating a multiple choice question. The first thing you'll need to do is enter a name and select a category for the question. So I'll go ahead and enter a name for my question. And now I can scroll down here and go ahead and write out my quiz question in the question text field. So I've added my text, and if I wanted to add any images or video or format the text, I can use these options up here. As an example, if I want students to view a video, then answer quiz questions about the video, then I could click on this video icon and add a video, and it'll be displayed embedded in the question, which makes it easy for your students to view the video, then answer any questions about it. You could also do the same type of thing with something like a geography test, where you might want to include an image of a map to go along with their geography questions. And so after writing out the quiz question, you also see this option for default mark, which allows you to enter how many points you want this question to be worth. And then we have the general feedback section, which allows you to enter feedback that will appear for the question no matter what the student's answer was. And then under the general feedback section, you have options to allow multiple answers or shuffling the answer choices, and also how you want the choices to be numbered. Now we can start entering our answer choices and the specific feedback for each answer if you'd like. So I'll go ahead and enter my answer choices now. And then after entering the correct answer choice, I'll need to change the grade option to 100% if this is the correct answer. So because this is the correct answer, I have choice 1 set to 100%, And then I'll set the wrong answers. I'll leave them as none because I don't want to give them any credit if they got the wrong answer. And then I'll leave the grade none. And we'll scroll down to the combined feedback section. This is where I can enter any feedback for any correct response, partially correct response, or any incorrect response. And then after entering the feedback, our next option allows you to apply a score penalty for each attempt of the quiz. And another great option that Moodle has for quiz questions is to give a hint, which is useful if you want to give your students a little help for something like a practice quiz or an activity. Now I've got all of my information entered, so I can click Save Changes to save my new multiple choice question. Okay, now I've got my first quiz question created. I can see it right here, my test multiple choice question. Now we can add our next question by clicking the Add a Question button again. Repeat the process with whichever question type you choose. And once you're done creating all of your quiz questions, you're done and can go back to the course site to see how the quiz looks. So let's go ahead and do that now. And then as you can see, I have my test quiz right here. To see how it looks, I can just click on it. And then I'll be brought to this screen where I'll go ahead and click Attempt Quiz Now. And there it is, I can see my quiz. That's it for creating a quiz. Obviously, you'll want to add a lot more questions and learn more about the different question types, but that's the basic process. Okay, time for a little practice. Learn more about quizzes by creating your own quiz with several different types of questions. And make sure to read the descriptions and test out various question options so you're aware of all the options available to you. In this video, you learned how to make your course more interactive with quizzes. In the next section, you'll learn how to make another type of interactive activity called a lesson. But that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.